What's up, guys? My name's Brandon, and there has been speculation for months about an Apple event on March 8th, and now Apple has made it official with the press invites that went out today. So as you can see here, this event is titled Peak Performance, and invites just went out 6 days ahead of the event. So in this video, we're going to break down the invite and search for hidden clues and Easter eggs within the graphic. We're going to talk about the products to expect at this event, why I think we're going to see more than expected, and more. And don't forget, I will be going live here on YouTube for this event, so make sure to tune in next Tuesday to react to everything live with me. All right, so first off, let's dissect this invite as much as we can, since Apple has been known to throw in clues and Easter eggs into these graphics. So starting with the title Peak Performance, they purposely misspelled this. So of course it's supposed to be P-E-A-K, but Apple put a play on words there with peak. So when you say peak, that usually refers to something that you see. So the first thing that comes to mind, of course, is the AR VR headset, but we heard that's not coming until later this year. So it's possible to see an announcement at this event, but I'm guessing Apple's going to save this headset announcement for WWDC at the very earliest. So what does that leave us with then? Well, I think it could just simply be referencing a new design of a product, most likely the Mac Mini that we'll talk about later. It could mean a new Apple display, or it could just mean a new camera setup on one of the products or something very, very minor like that. But I don't think Apple purposely misspelled peak for just no reason, just to do it. I highly doubt that. It means something. We just don't know what yet. So if you have any guesses, let me know in a comment down below. And then of course, if we look at the Apple logo right here, you can see multiple colors inside of it. And if you go to Apple's website, you could see the object right here. You can see kind of an animation of those different colors, which could indicate some new colors coming to the products, or maybe the new spring line of cases or something like that. All right, so now let's move on to what to expect at this event. And the first thing, the highest likelihood of coming at this event is the iPhone SE 3. So the iPhone SE 2 debuted in the spring of 2020 for $399, and it looked nearly identical to the iPhone 8 while adding the A13 Bionic chip, which was the fastest at the time. And for the third generation, Apple plans to do the same thing. So we can expect the design to stay nearly identical, if not completely identical, to the iPhone SE 2, with the exception of the camera lens. We could see a little bit of a bigger sensor to allow more light in, but aside from that, it's going to look pretty much exactly the same as the iPhone SE 2. But on the inside, we're going to get the powerful A15 Bionic chip, which is the same chip found on the iPhone 13 and 13 Pro, along with 5G support to make this lower end phone more future-proof. So for pricing, I would expect a minor increase this year. We are hearing that it's going to stay the same price at $399, but I could see a minor increase this year, maybe $449 or something like that, because I would imagine that 5G being added, of course, ups the expenses for Apple. And then also, I would at least hope that Apple finally does away with the 64 gigabyte storage option and replaces that with 128. So if we get 5G plus a base of 128, I could see that price going up by like $50, something small, but we'll have to wait and see on that. And then also for colors, we will also likely be seeing some new colors, maybe a purple, maybe some of these colors that we see in the Apple logo right here. There are like multiple different shades of purple, so we could see a purple iPhone SE 3, maybe an orange one. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see, but I would expect at least one new color for the SE 3. Next up is the other product that we're pretty much guaranteed to be seeing announced at this event, and that is a new iPad Air. And just like with the SE, we're expecting only minor upgrades here, like a new chip and 5G. So I would expect this 5th generation iPad Air to come with the A15 Bionic chip inside, but there is also the slim possibility of seeing the A12Z chip that we saw in the 2020 iPad Pro. In addition to that, we should also be seeing a decent camera upgrade, and that's because Center Stage is finally expected to come to the iPad Air. So we're going to have that 12 megapixel ultra wide front camera with center stage support, along with quad LED True Tone flash for the rear facing camera. And then for the cellular models, we will be seeing 5G added, which might bump up the price a tiny bit from the $729 starting price point of the previous 4th generation iPad Air. The Wi-Fi only models started at $600 for the 64 gigabyte, but just like with the SE, I'm really hoping that Apple does away with the 64 gigabyte storage option and just replaces that with 128. I mean, we're in 2022 now. We should not be having 64 gigabyte devices still. And then perhaps the most anticipated part of this whole event is going to be new Macs. So according to several reports, we should be seeing at least one new Mac at this event. And the most obvious guess would be a new Mac Mini. The Mac Mini got the M1 treatment back in late 2020, but unlike the MacBooks, we have not seen an upgrade to the Mac Mini since then. So I would imagine that we see the M1 Pro and M1 Max chips placed inside the Mac Mini, along with a redesign that we've heard rumors for a long time now, several months. So according to multiple sources, we can expect to see a thinner body, a top finished with plexiglass, a magnetic power port like on the latest iMac, and a bigger port selection. So this would be awesome if we saw this. I would be very disappointed if Apple introduced a new Mac Mini with like an M2 chip or something not as powerful as the M1 Max, which is what I'm looking forward to, but we'll have to wait and see. I am really excited for a new Mac Mini though. And then we could also see a new 13-inch MacBook Pro at this event with the brand new M2 chip. So Apple would have to debut the M2 chip at this event, which seems like a strange time to unveil it. So I'm not as high on this rumor as some others are, but it is definitely a possibility. And if those rumors are correct, this is not going to have a redesign. So this new MacBook Pro is going to have the same design as the previous 13-inch MacBook Pro with the touch bar. And keep in mind that the M2 chip is going to be, faster than the M1 chip, but it's not going to be near as fast as the M1 Pro and M1 Max chip that we saw in the 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pros. And then I'd also expect Apple to unveil their new spring line of iPhone cases, as we saw in a leak earlier this week. And then lastly, I would also expect Apple to at least mention iOS 15.4 and the final public release date. So I think they're going to talk about the new Mask ID feature, where of course you can unlock your phone with a mask on. They might mention the new emoji and things like that, but I would expect at least a brief mention of iOS 15.4 during this event. But there you have it, guys. That is what to expect at Apple's upcoming peak performance event. Let me know your thoughts and predictions down in the comments below as usual. And of course, if you want a link to the live stream where I'm going to be going live next Tuesday, March 8th during this event, I will leave that down in the description below. Make sure you guys tune in, turn on notifications for the channel. Those live streams are always a blast with you guys. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, I would appreciate if you give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe for a lot of coverage on anything that's announced at this event. I will be getting it and covering it here on the channel. But anyways, guys, thanks again for watching, and I'll see you soon.